What is up, Watch fam? Happy Thursday, and welcome to this week's episode of Ask TNH Live. I am live on Instagram at Theo and Harris. If you don't follow us already, go ahead and do so now because we're gonna answer some live questions. Let's do it. Before we get into it, a quick wristwatch check. I am wearing a wonderful vintage Datejust, a reference 1601, a watch that is currently available in the Theo and Harris watch shop. I think with like 20-something other vintage watches, mostly from Rolex, Omega, some Longines, some Tudor, really stuff that, you curate, only stuff that we're passionate about here. So go ahead and check out the watch shop right after this video. Okay, let's get into the first question. NATO straps. Kodorovsky wants to talk about NATO straps. It's pretty clear that I don't have a passion for NATO straps. First of all, what is a NATO strap? Let's throw it here, a photo for those of you who don't know. It's a single pass-through that catches on the other side, and it has these loops on the other side. It's a very sporty design. I think it's a fairly utilitarian design, although I don't understand why it's any more useful than a regular single pass textile strap, which I prefer much more. I don't like the bulkiness of a NATO, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I have a relatively small wrist, but I don't like the bulkiness of a NATO. Moreover, I'm not a big sports watch guy. To me, and I know this sounds crazy, a Rolex Day-Date is a sports watch for me, and that's whack, and I know it. But put yourself in my shoes. When you go from wearing a 1920s Jump Hour and a vintage Cartier Tank Louise to a Rolex Day-Date on a presidential bracelet, the weight, the body, the substance of the presence of the watch on your wrist is totally different. I don't wear a Day-Date with a suit, right? That's just not how I like to do it. If you do it that way, good for you. I have no objection to it. It's not how I do it. Okay, I wear a Day-Date with a polo or with an Oxford shirt. I wear a Day-Date with a t-shirt and jeans. Okay, so for me, it's a sports watch and a watch that I wouldn't put on a NATO. And if you kind of see where I'm coming from, I think you understand NATOs probably aren't for me. So that's it. I'll tell TGV that he's skinny and loves NATOs. Yeah, no, good for him. I mean, if he loves NATOs, that's fine. I mean, I also, I kind of believe in coordination, not so much in metals, but with styles. And I've seen people like TGV that will wear like a sports watch and a NATO with a pinky ring, which makes no sense. I love wearing rings. I have a signet ring. I have 2 signet rings. I also have a beautiful bloodstone pinky ring that I wear a couple times a year, on formal events. And to me, you have to match in theory. If I'm going to wear my, talented Mr. Ripley, bloodstone pinky ring on, I'm going to wear a watch that is super thin and super fine and a velvet jacket, for the opera with my mom. That's kind of how I like to coordinate. So it's all about style, Okay, the next topic here is Rolex exotic dials. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Rolex has a very rich history in manufacturing watches, specifically in their Day-Date and Datejust model lines with these exotic dials. Lapis, bloodstone. I can't even name them because they're all like geology names and names of stones that I don't know. I think it's an amazing quality about vintage Rolexes in the sports world, in the dress world. Hold on, there's an airplane. Give me a second. So Rolex manufactured a myriad of different interesting dials, a tiger's eye, all of these malachite, if that's a thing. And now they still do manufacture, I believe, 2 or 3. And I don't ever see them out. I never see them on Instagram, which is the hub of vintage watch collecting and sharing. I never see them on the street. So although they do possibly still make them, it's not Rolex anymore. That isn't a Rolex identifier anymore. I don't think I've ever even seen one in a boutique. I think it's unfortunate because I think that Rolex's I don't say history of, but history of and tradition in these stone exotic dials is awesome. And I think it does fit in those Day-Date, Datejust model lines because they are dress watches. And although people like to, mix match them now and make them sports watches, like I said with the Day-Date before, ultimately, sport or dress, they're rich. Right? A Datejust is a rich watch, as is a Day-Date. So whether you wear it to the beach or you wear it with a suit, the purpose of the watch is still to be luxurious and rare and rich and make you feel, kind of, rich. I hate to keep using the word, but it's the truth. And I think that those exotic dials really do embody that. And they add so much interest to the Rolex production line. Now you look at Rolex, and what do? What will they throw on a date? Arabic numerals? That's the best you got? Calling out Rolex, the best you got is Arabic numerals on a date? That's it? You don't throw an exotic stone. You don't do something interesting and rare and something that is, that doesn't make sense to the watch itself. No, they just like to, produce things that everyone is gonna like or whatever. But I just believe in brand identity, and I think that to maintain your brand identity, you gotta remember your past and what made you famous and why people love you, and it just makes more sense. But that's it. That's my opinion on Rolex, rare dials. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, every other Thursday at Theo and Harris, we release a series called Off Topic. We'll dive into food. We'll dive into talking about my grandfather and my family. We'll dive into suit recommendations or shirt recommendations or, shoes or a myriad of different taste choices, that we have, I'm a big consumer. You guys think I'm a retailer, and I am a retailer, and I love curating the boutique of watches, but I consume a lot of stuff, and I always have, And for me, because I am kind of like ADD, and I kind of am really particular, and I like to understand a market, I generally have a really good idea of what is good in a market. Right? So our ideas on Off Topic are to share our opinions on these things. And we're not paid for them or anything like that. We're just sharing really cool shit, which we've done several times. So, Carlos here says we talk about wallets, which is a good one. Have we done that before? We haven't. Rings, which I suppose I really could talk about. History of rings is pretty cool. There are a lot of ring designers out there that are great. I think that a ring and a watch go really well together. I don't wear anything too bulky when I wear a ring as far as watches are concerned. I won't really wear a date with a bracelet and a gold ring. It's just too much for me. But it's just style. Hair products are important. I use frizzies. I'm very boring with my hair. My hair is cool, but I'm very boring. And then men's jewelry. Yeah, okay, cool. I mean, I wear chains, I wear a lot of things, But yeah, we're going to keep exploring. We have a couple of really amazing reviews coming for you guys with custom suit manufacturers. It's a big movement, in the world of retail now. This idea of custom suiting and bespoke or made to measure, or all these things. And I'm really excited to start sharing these startups with you guys. Seriously, we've got one coming with Black Lapel, one coming with a Custom, both New York City-based brands that basically, from beginning to end, want to get to know you and your body and figure out how clothing can fit you best. And even if you have a body like mine, which is pretty good for, no, I don't mean pretty good. I have a body, thank God for shirts. A pretty good body for just wearing ready-to-wear off-the-rack stuff. It's amazing when you realize, wow, like how something should really fit. So I'm pretty interested in that idea. So we're exploring this with custom, companies. Oh yeah, Indochino and all these other things. So that's it. Well, I'm really excited, guys, for the future of Off Topic and Ask TNH and Rant TNH. And thank you all for following us at Theo and Harris. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to like this video if you like, exotic Rolex styles and custom suits and all that stuff. Talk to you guys soon.